All right, in the bottom left corner of Oxide LE, playing for DPG, it's Cure.
And spawning here at the top right, we got our Alpha X player, our Blue Zerg. He is Ragnarok.
All right. So we've seen Cure play in a few of our tournaments recently, and especially in the TVT matchup, he was let's say a friend of the proxy. We don't see it here so far, but have to watch out for that certainly. Meanwhile, we have a big sub gift in the channel. Thank you to I'm gonna butcher this name, Monteun. Monteun.
Sounds about
thank
right.
you. Yeah, thank you for all the subs, and congratulations to everyone that has received a sub gift.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting Alpha X. That's such a generous gesture from you, and thank you so much. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah, please, if I butchered your name, please make sure to correct me, and I will give you a proper shout out again.
Anyhow, looks like kind of a normal opening here. Nothing too crazy. We do have a Reaper though coming out for Kier. Gonna go ahead and send that out across the map. Gonna follow that up with a Marine.
Yeah, Marine after the Reaper. Cure did make sure to check for a third base with an SCV beforehand, which he didn't find, and that's why he's keeping his Reaper at home for the time being. And that is not the worst decision for now. He sees now that the timing for any like early pools has passed. But we see Ragnarok going for a very, very aggressive build here, and it's now on Cure to figure out this is happening. And the Reaper gets into the base and doesn't quite commit yet. So he doesn't know about the Roach Warren just yet.
Yeah, he is completely in the dark, and he is not probably gonna scout this until like the very last moments. Maybe on the while the roaches are on his way across the map, he might be able to scout it. But so far, not gonna be quite prepared yet. As Ragnarok doing a great job preventing Kier from diving in too deep into the base, and oh, actually cancels the roach point and goes for lair. What do you think about this?
I think it's an odd choice because Cure was completely in the dark. He did not see the Roach Warren whatsoever, so canceling something that your opponent didn't even see, I think he could have gone for some sort of Roach commitment just fine. But now Cure actually has the intel of the early layer, so now Cure knows what he's dealing with. Takes care of this Overlord at the front of his base too. So yeah, it's really up to Ragnarok to make something happen here, because this is a very committed opening, I want to say. There's obviously Zerg wants his third base for lava production rather early on, and this is delaying it a lot. And with this kind of build, you also have to make sure you don't die to anything stupid. So he's actually forced to add on the spine crawler here. So I guess I just like him taking the initiative, but it is something where you need to take over the game and snowball out of these early mutas.
Yeah, for sure. Currently Ragnarok is about pretty much even in terms of the worker supply, so really gonna have to do a lot of damage with these mutalisks. Now, of course, Kier is gonna start throwing. He's gonna start getting his upgrades, as well as I'm gonna predict some turrets. As really, there's not a lot of kind of potential openings from a really early lair. It's either early Nidus, which should have arrived by now, or it's probably Spire, and I think Kier has a good idea that it's probably the Spire. And actually gonna be throwing down his dirt here a little bit too forward right now, might want to send some reinforcements to help defend that.
So Cure, I think, has a really good read on the situation. He's starting his missile turrets now, and the build that he went for is actually extremely good against what Ragnarok is doing here. If Cure already has his third base on location at like 5 minute 30, if he can deal with this Mutas without taking too many damage, he has a great setup for the mid and the later stages of the game. And yeah, we saw the Mutas trying to go into the main base here, immediately deflected by a Cyclone. So it's I feel it's already a bit of a tricky spot for Ragnarok for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He is gonna have to find some way. Maybe he can pick off some of these transferring SCVs or something, but these Marines are making its way across the map, and unfortunately for Ragnarok, he took the triangular base, which is a bit more forward, a bit more closer to Cure's base. So now these Marines are going to be knocking at the front door.
I like this move out a lot from Cure. He's just forcing Ragnarok to build units here, and we see Ragnarok only at 50 drones right now. You do want a way higher drone count going forward, and just by doing this move out, you're forcing more units, you're forcing Banelings to be morphed, and that's he just puts himself in a great position for a follow up, because Ragnarok's just not on the economy that he wants to be at just yet.
Yeah, he is gonna first have to defend and then probably follow up with a bunch of drone production. Anyhow, Cure is going to go ahead and march on forward. Baneling speed not quite done yet. It's about 75% done. So he might just have to just go with it, because right now there's really not a lot to answer for these Marines, and all these Banelings get evaporated. These Mutalisks are going to get evaporated as well. And Ragnarok going to tap on out. Cure takes a pretty decisive game 1.
Alright, map 1, Cure, very decisive. Decides that it's not worth switching anything up just yet. On the other side of the map, though, we see Ragnarok with the gas pool opening. Okay, not quite what I wanted to see from him here, but something that can definitely work out. We did see Cure on the last map go for that SCV scout to make sure something like this doesn't happen, and maybe if he skips that this game round, it could be beneficial for Ragnarok, but we'll have to see how that one plays out.
You know, I'm a little bit curious if Ragnarok might be thinking that Cure can possibly be, you know, proxy rexing at that kind of that middle area where the rock is, because we see a lot of Terran players actually just proxy their rex there, just mine the minerals with their SCVs to make the entranceway, and just go across the map to do maybe a proxy bunker or something like that. And I think you know, because that build is so common, specifically on this map, I think Ragnarok just playing a bit extra safe and just going for their early spawning pool. Not only can it just shut down the proxy play, but it can also go across the map if it's a pretty standard play coming out of the Terran. So it kind of works both ways, and I think it's a great kind of decision for Ragnarok to go for that opening, that a little bit more of an aggressive opening here on Romanticide.
Yeah, for sure. It's a bit of a two-in-one opening. You defend anything that your opponent might throw at you, especially on a map where this is more common. And you can also put up the pressure. But we see Ragnarok over here. He doesn't just wanna pressure. This is a very early Roach Roar, and that's gonna be a heavy commitment. And the Reaper actually gets in to scout it as well.
Oh man, that is like as early as you can get from scouting it, and now Cure is going to be so prepared for that, I would imagine. So immediately throwing down the bunker, getting the tech lab on the factory, possibly for cyclones, I would imagine, because you know, if he does get the tank, really 3 Ravagers can just kind of cross about it. So I usually tend to favor the cyclone opening against a roach play opening like this.
We see Cure being just a tiny bit indecisive here. Started the bunker on the low ground, but then figured that it wasn't worth trying to hold the low ground for now, maybe. So he's preparing to evacuate the low ground and sets up to defend on the high ground. We see a Hellion coming out first. This Hellion is going to do absolutely nothing in the defense, but yeah, we see from Ragnarok this isn't terribly committed. He's already droning out of this, so he built 6 roaches, and that's about it for now. If he went up to the high ground now, the Cyclone is not out. He could trade reasonably well. But for now, he's just content with denying this low ground base from being operational.
They're gonna go ahead and start hacking away at this supply depot. Does get it actually, but the Cyclone does pop out just in the nick of time. We'll push.
Oh, that one roach!
6. Wait, how many life is that? 6. Yeah, 6 life on that roach there.
Yeah. Okay, so Ragnarok, happy with the damage that he's done, sees that he can't really do more without losing a lot of his forces. A bit sloppy there on the Overlord. If that Overlord stays properly on the high ground, it won't be able to be shot at. But yeah, that way. I was gonna say he's not gonna know what Cure is going to be doing on this side of the map, but Cure, in the face of danger, decides to throw down his third base, which Ragnarok immediately sees with his links. So he actually decides to completely turn around again. It's like, okay, my opponent thinks he's defended and is going greedy, placing a third base in position. I'm going back to Ling Roach Ravager, and probably just wants to attempt to, yeah, go for a second wave that Cure might not expect.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he has invested a lot and didn't. I mean, besides just a supply depot and maybe some delayed mining time, didn't really get too much. Although it looks like Ragnarok actually switching now to more drones, so looks like he's just trying to transition as this Banshee.
Nice pickoff.
Oh, nice.
That's a nice pickoff in the middle one. He's transitioning a little bit into drones here, but we have to note that he was very far behind in drones, right? So usually the way that you want to do this, if you want to be aggressive, you go like to somewhat of a half saturated third base, and then you push the issue. But yeah, with the double Evo and the layer coming up here, he's decided against that, and yeah, just heading into the mid stages of this game now.
Yeah, looks like the Evo chambers for Ragnarok are gonna pop on up. He's gonna go fire away at those upgrades, because right now he really needs some kind of edge over him. It's highly likely that the economic edge is gonna be in favor of Cure, so he's gonna need some kind of like tech edge of some sort to kind of even it out a little bit. So he definitely wants to go ahead and start those upgrades, which it looks like he does. Banshee gonna go in here and dive on for some more drone kills, but just not being able to, as these 4 queens will protect their babies.
Yeah, just the single Banshee was meant for defensive purposes earlier. Cure trying to get some value out of it, and yeah, the value that it's getting is that it's taken away attention from Ragnarok. But the way more important part is we see Ragnarok going for these ranged upgrades. So he's setting up for a Roach Ravager Bailing army, which is an army composition that's just really designed to fight a Terran army in the middle of the map head on, get one decisive win and snowball it. But yeah, right now Cure is the one trying to be aggressive here. None of the upgrades from Ragnarok are finished up just yet, but Ragnarok has a considerable force, and once these upgrades do finish up, it's going to be a rough fight from Cure if he's not in a defensive posture, and he seems to recognize that and pull away and set up defensively at home for now. And yeah, rely on drop play and harassment against the style that really can't chase away Medivacs very, very efficiently.
Yeah, I mean the kind of the army composition in Ragnarok are lings and banelings, roaches and ravagers, which all of them does not really shoot up air. I mean, you could say that ravagers shoot up air, but really they, Terran players can micro that well enough that it's a kind of non-issue. And here we go. The first initial double medevac drop will be sniping away at this third base. Does get the spore crawler, but does have two more spore crawlers here at the main base. We'll go ahead and reposition, as right now he is desperately trying to spread this creep because this fourth base is quite open, and it's going to be a kind of an area of contention. So Ragnarok wants to sure that up, make sure he spread those creep and get a lot of vision, and able to kind of move his units quicker on the creep.
I think Cure is actually a little bit confused as to the state of the game here. He sees what Ragnarok has. He sees the lack of gas units, and yeah, I guess he can't believe the position that he's actually in, which is a very good one. And just to be safe, he added missile turrets to all three of his bases. And yeah, I think if Cure sees and correctly reads the situation that he's in here, he's very happy and just yeah, economically and army wise wants to play this out. Yeah,
for sure. I definitely do think Akir does have the advantage, and I think he's a little bit overestimating Ragnarok's army, especially since it's for a moment ago it didn't have a lot of banelings in his army, so played it a little bit passive. But now it looks like he is going to go ahead and turn up the aggression here. Going to go ahead and try to cancel this fifth base. Can he do it though?
2-2 upgrades are finished for the Terran player here. We're going for the big engagement. All the banelings have gone down, and a considerable amount of Marines are still left. Meanwhile, a drop at the Ragnarok's third base. It looks like the army in the front is going to get overwhelmed, but big damage being dealt at the third base. And the main army still not fully cleaned up.
Oh no.
Only Rever just left here. You're stimming onto them. This is super cost inefficient for Ragnarok. He's eventually going to clean this up, but he doesn't even want to anymore. His third base went down. Meanwhile, he just didn't have the units spare to handle that one properly. So on this map, I think. So on the last map, we were saying that it's kind of a 2-in-1 strategy, right? It's good defensively against proxy Rex or anything. Blackburn, not really a map where proxy barracks are super common. There's not that many places to hide them. So I think on this map, it's safe to say that this is more of only aggressive build, if that makes any sense. I'm excited to see how he's going to follow this one up. Last time around, he went for the very early Roach Warren 6 Roach pressure, which really didn't get him anywhere. This time around, maybe if he follows it up a bit differently, he can get himself set up for a better game. Once again, STB scout from Cure here. It's gonna figure out what the opening for Ragnarok is right away. Yeah, sees the hatchery timing. Sees okay, pull first, keep the Reaper at home.
Yeah, I gotta say Ragnarok has had some questionable I guess decisions, because I felt like that first game, him getting the Roach Warren and not getting scouted out, and then he ended up like weirdly canceling the Roach Warren and going for a faster layer. I think he should have just gone for the Roach rush. However, in game number 2, it was like the opposite, because he got scouted really early on the Roach Warren, but yet he decided to keep the Roach Warren and go for that Roach push, which I think I felt like he should have just canceled it and maybe gone for that Mutalisk play instead on that game 2. So a little bit of a kind of a weird kind of play from Ragnarok. We'll see if he can kind of sure things up and go for more of a decisive kind of opening this time around.
For the time being, it seems like Ragnarok is playing against himself a little bit more than he's playing against his opponent. But,
yeah, that's perfectly stated.
Okay, I'm intrigued to see what this is going to be. We see the overload speed being researched here, and it's been a while that I've seen this just for scouting purposes. Maybe, but I don't see any like aggressive drop potential with it. I think this is actually just for scouting purposes. It's a bit tricky to get into this into the bases here on Blackburn with overlords and air units in general. So maybe just wants to get the speedy confirmation rather than sacrificing an overlord. But it's been a while since I've seen this from a Zerg player.
Well, you also do have to know, right? Like Ragnarok did not actually get a overlord at the cliff area that Zergs normally do. Because that cliff area allows the Zerg player to get some nice scouting at the front, see when the army is moving out as well as possibly dive into the main to get some scouting information, but wasn't able to get there. So getting this overlord speed, it looks like he just wants to make sure he knows what's up. Does get a nice scout over the main base of Kier. Should know that there are banshees on the way, especially since that tech lab was jiggling.
Yeah, he saw the cloak banshee being researched, and now it's very important that with this overload speed he goes for the follow-up scout as well. The overload is going again. He needs to see this armory to be in a position to properly defend, and he sees it right away. I love this play. Okay, I thought this was weird and we haven't seen it in a while, but the follow-up scout on this armory on this halberd push here makes it all worth it, and now all he needs to do is defend. And he's got static D and he's got queens, and only links though against these halberds. They're going to be roasting away. First queen is going down. The banshee just goes for the backline, for the mineral line, and is going to go down with only. Oh, it's not yet going down. Has only killed 3 drones so far though, and the push is defended. And this, for the first time, is a decent position for Ragnarok.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was a little bit of a tricky play because he didn't have a lair yet, so he didn't have a vision on those cloak banshees. So kind of maneuvering those spore crawlers a little bit around to make sure he was able to snipe away at those banshees. But he finally does, defend it and doesn't really lose too much for it. I think 3 drones in general from that push.
Three drones in general, gets the second banshee as well. So both banshees with cloak dealing only 5 drones of damage in total is almost as good as it gets. Obviously, he had to invest quite a bit of money into the static defense. So because he didn't have the Baneling or the Roach tech to fight the army, the halberd army of Cure head on. That's where he had to put a little bit of his money. But now tech-wise, he's looking great. The Spire almost done. Creep Shred is good. 4th base on the way. And Cure, from this point, doesn't really have any offensive capabilities until his upgrades finish up here. So, yeah, I like where we're at here for Ragnarok.
Yeah, I do like his position for sure as well. He does have a healthy worker count. His creep spread could use a little bit of work, but I think because he was put on some pressure in the early game by Kier, it's kind of understandable. And it looks like he was attempting to do so. Unfortunately, Kier is going to go ahead and clear up all those creep tumors, so kind of further resetting the creep in the middle. But at the very least, if he can defend this, he does have the gold base. So the question is, can he defend against this?
Very late bailingness from Ragnarok here. Bailing speed not even started yet, so he is going to have to defend this without bailing speed. I think he has the production to deal with this, and the mutas are cutting off reinforcement. He's forcing stims of the Marines, so I think eventually this will be cleared up. But obviously this is designed to keep him from getting his economy out of position. And now he dives onto the army, picks up the tank, gets a really good fight here, and now respreading this creep. Ragnarok finds himself in the best position that he's been in all series.
Yeah, however, the supply is still pretty close, so Ragnarok cannot rest on his laurels. He still needs to deal with this army of Akira, which primarily does consist of a mass marine. So if he can get these Baneling connections, that would be terrific.
Yeah, the Baneling speed being late here is really what's hurting Ragnarok right now. He's going for another engagement. All the Banelings are gone now, but the Queens are standing strong in the front so far. Somewhere on the map 10 SCVs are going down, but it's all about this main fight, and Ragnarok does not have enough.
Yeah, Kira will take it with a clean 3-0 sweep.